Fighting for semifinals, Cognitive Prime versus Titan.
And the bottom side of your minimap, they're wearing the blue trunks. Hailing from Atlanta, Georgia, the Captain Barracuda is here. Ladies and gentlemen, Andinster is in the jungle. Barracuda is in the duo lane with Jeff Henla as Muzen Cobb and Athena. MLC Stealth is your mid lane Scylla. Omegatron will be your solo lane Osiris, his second Osiris game of the day.
Right.
On the other side, it is Titan wearing the red trunks, fighting out of Europe, and the top side of your minimap, the right side of your spectator UI. It's Kanye Life and Ataraxia in the duo lane as Geb and Apollo. Repikas in the jungle on his signature Kali. Confrey on his signature Aphrodite in the solo, and Pretty Prime in the mid lane as Ra.
Things to note here, right side, we're looking at Titan. A lot of healing, things like Divine Ruin, Brawler's Beat Stick, and Weakening Curse going to be absolutely massive and necessary in this game for Cognitive Prime. Prime does have the Osiris, which means there is a small amount of healing reduction inherently added to their kits, but it's a very hard move to land. Yes. Starting off the game, it doesn't look like anything's going too crazy. There's a lot of wards going around. I think we're going to see a meta start. I think both teams are very nervous.
Yeah, I think so as well. A couple things to note here.
Whoa.
Oh, no, yeah, we have a grouping to the right side here. Kali, Aphrodite is going to be forced away from their blue, and it looks like they were expecting this when they did have the deep ward at the mid camp, and they realized what's going on. Andy's gone through the wall. He's taking the orange buff as the blue buff gets leeched back. A little bit of an awkward start here for Cog, but effective.
And on the bottom side, Cog actually takes their own speed buff and gives it to the support.
Really
unconventional. Brilliant. Yeah. Everything they're doing, they're stripping away the mirror. The blue, the speed are taken on both sides.
So what Brand is kind of referring to here is almost always you will see the bottom side orange buff left if the top side orange buff is invaded to allow more uptime on that speed buff for your jungler.
Right.
But here they're going to drop it to try to get the quick level 5, level 4, level 5 on to the duo lane. Geb rotating over to the mid lane here. He's going to try to just soak up experience.
Okay, so there's a fight over the Furies here on the right side. They're almost dead. Oh, Stealth resets them.
Yeah, that's a bit of a misplay there on the side of Cog. Andy's still sitting at level 1, MLC Stealth at level 2, but it's not going to be enough to try to make a play. They got to focus on clearing the wave and getting their levels up first.
Kanye Life actually going in safely here. Doesn't have Hand of the Gods for another 30 seconds, but these camps looks like he's free. This is a big misplay from Stealth here. That's going to be a huge amount of golden experience added, and we're going to see a level 3 Pretty Prime head back to mid. Yeah,
it'll help offset some of that experience differential from both of the orange camps being taken on the side of Cognitive Gaming. You won't see that really translated in the graphs, though, until about minute 3 or 4 when the orange buff normally would have been picked up. So that being said, you see Titan rotating to the backside to pick up their red buff. And, well, the nature of the item that junglers have, the Bumba's Mask, allows them to share XP evenly, regardless of how many friendly units are there. So you can see them grouping up as 3 to take these back camps. Very, very efficient.
So in the first round, I would expect, or rather I would assume that Cognitive Prime had seemed to have the easiest time with the other regions, and they were able to do that without showing any of their real cards. And now the double speed start, very, very new. We don't see that very often, and when we do, it's usually a misplay. Yeah. In this case, it was not only beautiful, but perfectly executed.
Yeah, it really was an excellent start. And now, wait, let's take a look on the right side here. Confrey going to take some damage. He's going to get tethered up, and he's going to eat a full chain of in-hands. However, that last scythe does miss from Omega, but he is fully in his spirit form, taking drastically reduced physical damage. The tower dive is a reality coming soon.
That's true. I mean, he started off with a decent amount of damage as well, of course, with that Death's Toll Hand of the Gods start. He's going to be... I'm not sure what he's going to do first. We're not going to see the Rune Forge early. I mean, it could just be Boots, it could be Wingblade, it could be Witchblade, all of which will play a major benefit in the lane.
Well, we saw in one of the earlier Osiris games, you know, he was so far ahead, and he elected to just build Boots in the chin size, just kind of foregoing the mitigation items just because of his level advantage. And he's a level ahead of Confrey here, and it looks like he'll be able to force him out of lane as well. So Megatron on the path to potentially building damage items yet again this game.
And has had a perfect uptime in the blue buff. You can see a little under 2 minutes remain on the top right blue. The bottom right blue had just been taken, so he's not going to have any mana issues, whereas Confrey, level 4 right now, is trying to clear from max range, and with no available mana, has to back.
Time to keep an eye on Andinster here. He is level 5 as Thor. Mid-camp coming back up, and we're going to have a fight. Titan boosting forward to try to get that deep ward. They're going to get it successfully, but Jeff Henla's here. They're going to force the blink and the leap out. It's going to make it very tough for Titan to contest this, and Cognitive's going to take the left side camps fairly easily. Ross Knife off the mark, and that's free for them.
After their game against OMG, I think a lot of the faults were at the mid-camp, and when I asked early on who was... You know, what was the issue for you guys against OMG? Titan responded quite quickly. We shouldn't have fought mid-camps with a late game comp. So right there, seeing the Kali back off, I think was very smart. I think they're taking much more direction from Ataraxia this time and letting him be the shot caller.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, that's the weakness of the Kali pick. does not bring a lot to the table until maybe minute 12. She needs her boots, some attack speed items, ideally chin size before the 20-minute mark, and a lot of levels have enough HP to survive any engagement.
Right side, Comfrey again taking a lot of damage already, almost half. A lot of pressure in the mid as they're waiting for the right mids to come up. We are also going to see the speed and 3 of the blue buffs around the map just about ready to respawn.
To Comfrey's credit, though, he's managed to kind of maintain in this lane for quite some time, considering he hasn't had access to his blue buffs, and this is not going to be the dive we're looking for. Omega perfectly happy with his lane control, and now 2 levels on the solo lane Afro.
Kanye could be in some trouble here. Cataclysm going to find 2. Athena coming down, and he's trying to roll away. He accidentally slows her. Repicas around the corner, doing some damage to Andy. Huge shot from the back, but there's the monster!
Oh, left over by Repicas. He's going to try to push forward. He cannot close the distance onto Andy. Jeff Himla going to hold those minions away from Stealth, but Stealth, we haven't even touched on this yet. Scylla, a very, very undervalued god currently in Smite.
Not by me.
One of the stronger mid lane mages, one of the best burst mages in the game. As you saw there, her ultimate, she ascends onto the dogs, and if she's able to get herself a kill, is able to then strike again, and can do that up to 5 times, assuming she kills all targets. So this got able to really take over team fights. Also was a very mobile mage, not in the traditional sense of Ra and Poseidon in Smite with movement speed, but with the ability to blink through walls using the Sentinel ability. So all things told, Scylla, MLC Stealth really the only player that favors her in the world, and he makes her look like everyone should be picking her.
She's amazingly strong. She has a weak early game, and I think what a lot of it is that most players don't get a very good chance to practice end game play. A lot of players play mostly ranks, and with that, the games generally ends in the laning phase. I mean, that goes for almost any MOBA.
That's right, yeah. And well, speaking of the laning phase, Barracuda's had a doozy here. We haven't called his name yet, which is a wonderful thing if you're playing a Muzen Cobb. This guy needs farm, and he needs safe farm, and they've been able to secure it for him, making a lot of room with the rotations around the map. Mid lane, they're going to have a bit of pressure coming up from Anderson, but nothing cooking there. Left side, Barracuda, you can see him playing forward, knowing where his team is, and they're going to be able to pull at least one taunt out onto Kanye Life here. There's a shield wall, the burst coming through, and he's going to be dead within milliseconds. There it is. Barracuda ultimate seals the deal, and they're going to be able to aggress the red buff as well with the MLC Stealth rotation.
That was almost a land and stir play as he teleported a little bit too soon. Almost dropped that one. The shield wasn't available, and it looks like Kanye is going to go down there. Andy needs to adjust his timings because he is playing as if he had.
Oh, they're diving left side. Ataraxia in a lot of trouble. Thor is up in the air, and they're going to move forward on this one. No, he actually is going to miss that one. Ataraxia going to make his way out there, trying to bait that, and well played there by the Titan Hunter.
So what happened there is Andy couldn't actually see Ataraxia hiding behind that wall, which is awesome for him. So he just, went for it. It was beautiful. Stealth, not in a lot of trouble here. He is using I'm a Monster. Oh! Let me fix my face. Pretty Bride with a beautiful snipe. Put Stealth in timeout.
Yeah, that was nicely played. The Kali kind of seeks him out with her number 2, able to kind of give the location of the target to Pretty Prime, and he just seals the deal with a raw snipe. Excellent aim there by the mid laner from Titan, and it really keeps them in this early game. They were starting to really slip there. If the momentum would have continued with Cog, I think through that fight, it would have been trouble.
So right now I'm taking a look at the grabs here. Actually, the experience difference is normalized. It's going back and forth between the 500 mark, depending on the wave. Comparatively to the gold difference, still about 1,200 in favor of Cognitive Prime, but they're making the comeback. And remember, Titan is the king of comebacks.
So we're going to be seeing Ataraxia, the Hunter, playing Apollo on the side of Titan. Almost always is going for an attack speed oriented build with a lot of on-hit effects.
Right.
On the other side, Barracuda, what do you think he's going to be going with this B? He has the Death Glove, so it's not going to be the Transcendence Rush, but what's your expectation?
I expect that he built Death's Toll second at it. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
Hey, you got to get the Death Gloves Rush when you're playing the B. Obviously, he's going to go into his boots, but next item, Executioner, is the real question.
It's possible. It's definitely possible. It looks like, he's going to rush the boots. He needs the movement speed. What I'm really wondering about is Ataraxia. He has actually, told to me he doesn't really favor the Unicorn build as much as he did. He might be looking more towards the Zappicorn build, which is kind of a variant that Zapman created. He might even go standard. He doesn't know yet. And going up against a Muzika, which is definitely unconventional, I think he doesn't even know what he's going to do.
Lane, Brandon, we do have a taunt coming out. They're going to get some damage on a Pretty Prime, but he's going to Aegis it away. And it just seemed like Cog has been swarming to the plays, and they've definitely had the positioning advantage through this early game. 8.5 minutes in, it's 2-1, but it feels a little bit more one-sided than that. Cognitive Prime has really had their foot on the accelerator, dictating the pace of this game through the first 10 minutes.
Beautiful sprint. Barracuda keeping himself safe, throws the swarm out to clear the back line, and strangely, both Ataraxia and Murder here are backing off as the rotation come out from Jeff Himla. That's a beautiful call.
So let's talk a bit more about this a pick for Barracuda on the B. What we're basically seeing here is a god that's been drafted in a very unique situation to do a couple of things. Muzenkop has actually a pretty decent laning phase against Apollo, able to stay back, farm waves up, especially if he just gets a good start to the first 5 minutes. A bit of trouble here, though, as moving forward is Get. There's the knockup, and we're going to see the weakness of this god. He does not have the sprint available anymore, and he just absolutely melts. Athena's back down in place as well. They don't have the CC for her. Dashing forward is the Athena, and it looks like Jeff Hinla, the Swindler, is going to be A-okay, but back to the B quickly, sum this up. He has a good laning phase against Apollo, and you're also picking this god to shut down the mobility of Repicos in the later stages of the game with that long duration cripple from that ultimate.
That's right. I mean, getting that would be a really big play. Oh, Megatron going for the steal. Hand of the Gods should be able to conceal that one pretty simply. Comfrey going in, going to be stunned out of this one. Does he go? Yes, ultimate going to be stepped away, but his healing is still reduced.
And
remember,
those birds do nothing, and oh, the stun out, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, Megatron finds himself a kill. He's going to fall summarily to Pretty Prime, who kind of, not so quietly, but has found himself 2 kills. Hasn't really been the god that we're kind of focusing on during these fights, but he's had a couple of 2 real aces so far in this game.
So right there, it's hard to call who is the winner. Considering the fact that Osiris is 2 levels higher and got the kill first, he's going to have a much longer respawn timer. Yeah. Confrey will be able to get back to lane much faster, but there was a pretty harsh rotation over, and as a result, it doesn't look like Titan got the left mid camps. Even so, I think it was about even.
We got to play. Are they going to try to take... No, they're not going to try to take gold here. They grouped there, and they wanted it. You saw it got started by Pretty Prime, but gotten called off, I suppose, maybe by Ataraxia, the play caller.
Right side mid camp's about to spawn. It looks like they're going to be blinking. No, they're done already. What Murder went back to the base?
Yeah, no support on the side of Titan near those mid camps. I'm not sure if anybody knows these are up.
See, this right here is why I love watching Repicos. He is a colleague trying to save up for chin size, and he still buys a Century Ward. That's a sign of a good player.
He does it for the team. He just wants to see a W. And, well, you can just see, speaking of the warding, how much warding there is going on for Titan.
Uh-oh, Hinla.
Oh, Hinla's going in. They're going to avoid the snipe there fairly well. Pretty Prime in a lot of trouble. And down he goes. I'm a monster. And Kali's going to eat one as well. No, just off the mark, taking to the sky is Athena and crashing down, but no more doing here. Kanye in position to go in. They're going to try to stun him out under tower. Are they really going to try to fight this 3v2 with a Kali in the early game? Here comes Kanye. The chain stun's coming through. The tower aggro was on the Scylla, but she's going to make it out A-okay. Anderson takes to the sky. Repicos immune to death. Coming back down is the Thor. No, he bails out. Wasn't sure, and Atarax is coming over the sky. Oh, barely making it out of time there.
That could be Gold Fury.
Yeah, a little bit of a questionable back, and you're right. Could be, but not with Aphrodite trending back to the right side of the map. They're not going to have enough really support for that Apollo to take it down in a meaningful time. Yeah,
it looks like Ataraxia is going to go the safe way back to lane. Kanye actually not even going to hold the wave off the tower. We're seeing the dash come out from Ata. He's going to rotate back in. Still, Cognitive Prime has had a few really choice wins, but only maintains their 1,200 gold lead as per the beginning.
Yeah, they haven't been able to really pull ahead of this game yet, and that's good news for Titan. Right. It's been a fairly, as I said earlier, a fairly cognitive-driven game. They've dictated the pace a lot, but overall, a game that is stalling through the 10-minute into the 20-minute mark as we are past the 12-minute mark in this game is good for the Kali. That late-game carry, she needs a lot of time to get up into fighting form, but once she is, as you saw earlier in the day, can very easily take down an entire team.
I'm very maybe perturbed at the fact that every team keeps letting Titan run Afro Kali. Like, she's not invincible enough that you give her an Aphrodite as well. And that has been the key to almost every single one of their major victories.
Yeah, the Aphrodite ultimate allows the Kali to have a lot of uptime even when sitting at maybe 10, 15 HP. It just makes her a much better team fighter than she should be, and that's the danger of these two in tandem.
Andy backing right now, but no ward's able to spot that out. On the boys, on the Titan side, I don't know if they're going to understand that this is a 2v2 and not a 2v3, and with the left camp spawning, no, Repicos is going to go in.
Yeah, he's going to make his way in. Jeff can definitely dash forward here. They're looking for the quick hog, I would imagine. No, the zone is real. Here comes Jeff. He finds a two-man taunt. Scylla gets it as well. Thor taking to the sky. Who's the target? It's got to be Repicos. Wham! Slam! Anderson comes in, and he dumps it home. Does MLC stealth? They have another one coming out as well. Pretty Bright in a lot of trouble. See you later, son! Down he goes. Ataraxia. He wants some as well. Will dodge the last time a monster, but MLC stealth brings the fury.
Ataraxia does not have enough health by a mile to be able to contest this one. Cognitive Prime primes now to go to finals with another huge win, 7-3, increasing their lead up to 3,600, and Stealth's not done.
In the meantime, Omegatron, he's taking a blue buff. He's going to take that away from Aphrodite and continue to just bully this lane.
She's doomed.
He's built a 2-level advantage now.
She is completely out of mana right now. She cannot stick around. Omegatron going to take this opportunity to back as well. Gold in hand. I'm taking a look at, ooh, look at this. Omega's going to have a decent amount of push here. He is some damage, man.
Yeah, this is
Chim size.
This is starting to come together really well for Cognitive. That fight was very meaningful for them. They take a lot of map control out of that, and now they've managed to get themselves in a position where they have a mid-game strong AMC that can transition well in the late game. This is a dangerous situation for Titan. They need to wrestle back control of this very quickly.
I know I mention it a lot, but I've seen them down even farther against OMG, down even farther against SK,
right.
Down even farther against Cloud9. The comeback is not impossible by any stretch of the imagination. Barracuda, not a character that's going to do super well in the endgame if he gets completely focused, considering Athena has only one set of peel. It's all about stealth for me right now. How much damage can he put in? That last fight, 100% was the fact that he hit that sickle.
Yeah, it was a very, very nicely baited play. They baited out that Geb knockup. It was fired a bit early by Kanye Life, and because of that, they weren't able to have any answer for the Athena dashing in, two-man taunt into two-man Sikkim. It was a very, very rough situation for them, no pun intended.
So Kanye Life might be in some trouble here as Andy takes to the skies. Barracuda running the flank here. Where does Thor go? Right onto Kanye.
Yeah, they're going to have the Athena ultimate as well on top of him, and that's going to be all she wrote. Barracuda getting credit for that one as well. In the jungle now, MLC self-zoning out Rebecca. They find the taunt as well. Do they have the Sikkim? They have I'm a Monster. They're waiting for the leap.
3, 2, 1.
Snap it.
No, doesn't go for it. Pretty Prime goes for the Aegis.
Pretty Prime says, yeah, I'll hold that for you, and I'll use this Aegis. That makes me immune to damage. No firing for MLC Stealth. They will be able to group and now make a play on Ada. And Ada, he overstayed his welcome there, knowing that there was 3 members rotating from Cog.
I think that was a bees kill. How fun is that?
Yeah, the bees get him.
Yeah, I think the bees got
amidst
him.
all of that damage, the dot takes him down, that low power dot. Barracuda, I mean, he hasn't even really done anything this game, and he's had a massive amount of impact. Just farming lanes, being aggressive. He has 3 kills, 1 death to his credit, and he's going to be a late game Muzen. And there's one thing this god is good at, and it's boxing in the late game.
MSC Stealth just took about 50% of his life bar walking directly through a shot, but unfortunately for him, unfortunately for Pretty Prime, all that did was spot out where the ward could have been. Sentry ward gets placed down, they pick it right up.
Yeah, and Stealth, he's starting to tank up here as well. Warlock Sash on 12 stacks so far, and he's going to have that up and running here in about the next 4.5 to 5 minutes, most likely getting that into the higher numbers where that hope really starts to show in survivability. In the meantime, we have some further itemization. Osiris has built into the Pestilence, tanking up some magical defense as well as a lot of HP, a lot of cost-efficient HP. We're going to have the standard build out of Thor building into the Shifter Shield next. You see the B is going to be building Chin size, it looks like, so full Unicorn build for Barracuda on the side of Cognitive Gaming. Titan, on the other hand, well, they have a Book of Thoth up on their Raw, so he's starting to build deeply into the damage tree. In the meantime, Confree goes more the role of the support mage with his max cooldown reduction build so far.
So I'm looking at the tier 1 goes down, mid camps go up, perfect positioning and timing right now for Cognitive. Right side, looks like Omega's just trying to clean up. Confree has not had too much of a say. We need to see more of this grouping of Afro Kiss to Kali. She's level 13 right now, whereas I'm looking at Andy 2 levels ahead.
Yeah, they have maybe 2 more fights this Titan before this game gets completely out of hand. And in one of those fights, Kali needs to get a triple kill.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be pretty hard for them to hold Cognitive from breaking the base in the next about 10 minutes. So
and it's so hard for them to do it because Ra just can't do the same type of damage that Scylla can. And look at it, Pretty Prime's builds here. I mean, he's going into Book of Thoth. He's trying to go burst damage against Tank Scylla as a player who is going to rely on healing now. I just don't see it. Weakening curses need to be coming out here. We have the creeping, but we need to have that finish, Jeff Hinlow, right away.
They got the timer up for the blue buff. They're going to take this one back down with 5 and continue to pressure the right side of the map to tier 1, falling to minions.
Bart, did they just 5-man blue buff?
They 5-man the enemy blue buff while the tier 1 falls on their side. I mean, what are you to do when you're Titan there? You can't aggress into that. You can't try to stop the tower push. They're just in a rock and a hard place there.
That's a hold that situation. There's nothing you can do.
No,
you walk into that, you die.
Watch it. Yeah, you just watch it happen, and maybe you're sad about it.
Are they waiting for the speed? They are. It looks like Andy's going right for it.
Yeah, Andy's going to make us play for it. Jeff Hinlow, the minute he sees Repicos, they're going in. They're going to try to burst down the Kali. There's a lead coming out of Andy. They're going to take the sky for this. No, he's not. He's going to beat away the stun. Bait it out. Repicos now going immune to death. The MLC Stealth is here. He's going to use I'm a Monster. He's not going to need it. It doesn't matter. Repicos. Don't. Wait.
Did he?
He popped his crush prematurely, and it wasn't enough to pick up Repicas.
I didn't see him pop it. I thought he was going to walk into it.
Yeah, I felt like
My heart
I thought that should have been a kill, Brandon.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be, but Repicas was smart about his positioning, jumping in here. They're going to find a big hit, but again, Pretty Prime not finding a single relevant ult this game, aside from one of the first kills.
Oh, there's a big deal as well in that fight was that Pretty Prime threw out that Ra ultimate, and it was juked by the Scylla leap. And basically what that does, it means that now they can't stop Barracuda from split pushing this tier 2. They don't have that long range clear from the Ra, and it was a very questionable play, I think, out of Pretty Prime. Scylla's a low priority and low likelihood you hit her, low percentage play, basically coming out of a very mobile Scylla at this stage in the game.
10,000 gold, 11,000 experience here at the 19-minute mark for Cognitive Prime, and I just don't see how they're going to be able to turn this around on the Titan side if they don't focus up. We're getting the Afro kiss, sure, but Repicas right there, he gets hit with a creeping curse, and he gets so baited by thinking it's a weakening that he ran away for too long. I mean, that kind of mindset, that's going to hurt you. He's not keeping his eye on the prize. He's not looking at matchups. He's not hitting tab and recognizing item builds. That's not a good look.
Yeah, definitely a mental mistake there.
Aphrodite just went into Soul Trap. Now, Soul Trap to me, I mean, he can go into Book of Thoughts for a power spike, but he could also go into Soul Reaver, connect to Repicas, and let the burst damage just ride.
That seems really risky to try to go for that.
And all in.
At this stage, yeah, I mean, they're completely all in if they do that. The Book of Thought suggests they want to stall the game longer, but
they're not going to make this.
Yeah, there's no way that Titan can try to contest this Gold Fury. Barracuda, at this stage of the game with the Hives, is going to be just attacking so fast and doing so much damage. Hives are maxed out, granting him 12 healing per second, an additional 50% attack speed for standing near them. I mean, it's just, he's going to be capped out on attack speed here with the Chin Sides and the Hives pretty close to that.
Why is Ataraxia backing? It looks like he's afraid of the rotation from Omega, which is strange because he had his ultimate. That could have been a small victory, but I suppose 500 gold at risk of a life is probably not worth it given their deficit at this point.
Yeah, it just... Again, I think another one of those kind of like low percentage plays. Maybe he gets it and barely escapes, but they had 3 rotating the right side of the map. A fairly decent call to fall back. Although I think you're right. I think you hit it right on the nose there. You know, they're going to have to make some hot plays here to get back into this one.
Kali just head back to the base right now. Scylla's Divine Ruin is online. Pestilence is online as well, and we are seeing a heavy maze come out. This could be Jotuns playing Muzen Cobb as a physical caster is not always a bad call, but if it goes into Brawler's beat stick here, that would be a ridiculous amount of healing reduction and would completely shut down Kali, Aphrodite, and part of Ra.
Yeah, it will be. The flat pen is just too good here. You have the Breastplate of Valor out on the Aphrodite, plus that Sovereignty. There's a lot to chew through, and this item will help him out a tremendous amount. It just has the healing, as you mentioned, plus gives you the most flat pen of any item in the game for physical. Is that right? I think it is.
20?
Yeah, I think that's the max you can get off a single item.
4-man Cataclysm. Pretty Prime finally landing a hit, but not nearly enough damage. We're getting a 3-man Shockwave, and Repicas is not letting this one go.
Oh, the tether is here, though, and Megatron can sit in his front line for about 3 or 4 seconds before he's forced to bail, and there you see it. And he's going to try to run away. Repicas wants to chase this down, but I don't think he's going to be in time, and indeed he will not. They saved the tier 2, but they blow a few ultimates to get it.
Witchblade makes him a little bit too fast. Curseblade on Kali as well, but he couldn't chase alone. For some reason, Kanyele puts himself in danger, taking a whole bunch of abilities, but Ra there to heal it back up.
Yeah, the Thor now coming to the backside. Not sure anyone checked in. They're moving in there. He gets a free kind of zoning stun, but Titan positioning himself very aggressively considering how these fights have gone. They really want to take the fight to Cog, knowing that, you know, they want to fall back before they're forced to defend again, and Titan's going to try to push, well, what little advantage they have for the moment.
Right, 2 level 17s right there. I'm going to see Ataraxia keeping pace almost at level 18, still about 2 levels behind. They'll find themselves a 500 gold swing here. Not enough to shrink it completely, but enough, it's something.
Well, they do get themselves a tier 1 tower, a consolation prize for making their way to the right side of the map, but Titan, I mean, they really needed Apollo split pushing that tier 1 on the left side. Ataraxia finding anything off of the map would have been really helpful there instead of 5-manning, but it's just so dangerous with Barracuda, with that long duration cripple from the Muzen. I mean, it just becomes more and more dangerous for Apollo to split push as the burst goes up from the B.
So we're going to see Speed Buff and Blue Buff finally both taken by Titan on their side. We're going to have a 5-man grouping, it looks like, from both teams as Ataraxia makes a quick detour to push up the mid lane. Scylla looks like she's doing the same.
Right side, we do have the continued grouping. Cognitive in position to start the Fire Giant if they want, and and Barracuda is going to go ahead and say, it's time, boys. He does have the healing, as we mentioned, from the Hive, but the
bait is
Fire
good.
Giant, yeah, the bait is here. Can they close the distance? Here is MLC Stealth, and he's going to be the difference maker in this fight.
Batta's in the air.
Down. It's not enough so far. Athena ultimate's there as well, and he's going to bail out as the Athena comes through. Barracuda stuck on the front line, fighting with Ataraxia.
Bear's down.
Ataraxia is going to fall as well. They trade. Jeff Hinla is there.
I'm a monster.
I'm a monster.
Nope.
Going to miss Repicos. Well played. They just trade Hunters, and both teams fall back and regroup.
Except one of the teams has a pretty ridiculous amount of healing and continue this basically forever.
Yeah, this is now, the difficulty has been put back onto Cog Prime here. What are they going to do about Titan? Titan has a tremendous amount of regen and is able to play forward. And here we go. It's going to go on to Andy is the aggression. They're going to try to time that knock-up to prevent the Mjolnir's attunement. What would be activated? Andy is just fine.
They're pushing back here. Omegatron and Jeff still have a decent amount of health here. Mid-tower going to get blown up, and without the threat of Barracuda and I'm a Monster, it looks like there's no pressure really for Titan, except to just blow up the tier 1.
And they'll take yet another tier 1. So, I mean, things are looking up for them, though. They've stopped the bleeding at least, and they're starting to recoup a little bit what they lost. And the longer they stall, the longer Kali has to farm, the better chance they have of finding one fight that wins them the game.
Andy was basically 4 levels ahead. Repicos just proccing into 16, but he's starting to bring it back. I mean, this is the power of Kali. Afro gets increasingly harder to kill as the game goes on. Once things like Heavenly Agility are online, which we do have right now on Afro, that's going to be healing increase. That's going to be a ridiculous amount of movement, and most importantly, slow immunity for anyone that's affected by the ability.
Well, we'll be seeing fairly soon as she continues the full gold what she's building into with this Soul Trap. She's closing in very, very closely on enough gold required to complete.
No.
Repicos has gone fairly deep. I'm not sure they're going to be able to really clean this up. Yeah, Thor's going to pour forward. He's not going to find the stun that he was looking for, and that's going to be the end of the push for Cog.
She almost just died to bees.
Yeah, again, almost died.
She had 100% healing reduction, and those bees were active. That's where the Geb Shield came out. Kanye Life might have just saved the game with that Geb Shield.
Yeah, I mean, if Kali falls there, I'm not sure she's a high enough priority target to go and immediately take the Fire Giant, but they certainly go take that tier 2 on the right, no problem. If they find another, it's a free map objective.
That's right. Speaking of tier 2s, I mean, that thing is hanging on by a thread. They've already lost the other 2. They're down in Gold Furies by 2 right now. That's another 3,000 gold. The gold per minute is just clearly in favor of blue. All 5 members of blue are significantly higher than all 5 members of Titan.
Well, we continue to have this stall out around the Fire Giant. In the meantime, Ataraxia is taking the Gold Fury slowly but surely, and it's up to Cognitive Gaming to spot this one out, count the players, and realize they can go in. They have a 5v3 right now.
No.
Kanye Life is there. The snipe comes out, but it only hits Jeff Hinla. Jeff does not find the taunt that he was looking for, and it's now a 4v5 as Cog stays here. Apollo takes the skies, unable to finish off the Gold Fury. Not sure. I mean, they called for him to come over, but the fight didn't end up breaking out, and well, Cognitive Gaming comes out ahead. They force the Apollo ultimate. That's
4 ultimates down right now. Ataraxia came across pretty prime, went for it. Repicos is not back up from the last fight, 14 seconds, and Kanye's is still down for over a minute, whereas all 5 ultimates are available for Cognitive Prime.
To be fair, Pretty Prime's ultimate's on a fairly short cooldown. Raw, one of the shorter ultimate cooldowns in the game.
Short? Almost back up?
Yeah, they're missing that Across the Skies and the Cataclysm. Those Cataclysm really being the big one here.
Yeah, I mean, that they've been using it as the initiate.
Yes.
Which is strange to me. Usually Kanye likes to just kind of hobble in, wait for the big opportunity. Right now, they're just trying to get that damage on. And it does look like Aphrodite has gone into the Book of Thoth instead of the Soul Reaver, which means they're not looking for the big burst damage. They're looking for healing, which is confusing to me considering the fact that they have 100% healing reduction on the other side twice.
Well, Brandon, let's take a look at our items here before we move on. Thor, he's finished off his Shifter Shield, giving him that base power and moved into the Magi's Blessing. He'll have that online relatively shortly. Still no word if that's going to be a Brawler's Beat Stick for the Muzen.
It is indeed.
Ah, yes it is. As I say that and look at Brandon, it is indeed a Brawler's Beat Stick. So the Flat Pen and the healing reduction matching up with that Divine Root on the side of Scylla. The Witchblade completed on Osiris, as is the Pestilence. And there's a Pestilence on Athena. They're shutting down healing completely.
So 2 things that are very important right here. One, they, for some reason, Cognitive Gaming is not applying their pressure, and they're giving them a lot of time to benefit. But here comes the pressure. Jeff Hinla in the back line. Comfrey has already used his ultimate. There's no getting out of that one. First person's going to go down, and that's going to be a big swing here for Reppy.
Oh, yikes. MLC Stealth continues to charge forward. They get the slows out, but they're not going to go ahead and fire off that next Scylla ultimate. They're going to turn tail and go for the Fire Giant with 3 members down on Titan. There's not much they can do about this.
And look at Omega. Look at Omega. Immediately he's like, I'm going to take your tower, and I'm going to make sure you go nowhere near my friends.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to zone out these 2. No problem. They don't have anywhere near enough damage to deal with this Osiris at level 20 with 4 items. There's just nothing to do. And there it is. The chain taunts from your boy. Omega at the Phoenix. Fire Giant goes the way of Cognitive Gaming as well, and they have an opportunity to push into the base here.
We are going to see a major push here coming out from COG. Still, all 5 members going down the mid lane. They're going right for the tier, the tier 2 has been down forever. I don't know why I keep thinking Titan was able to hold that.
They did hold that.
Oh, they're holding that for sure. Here comes the Phoenix. No pressure whatsoever. In fact, Kanye Light forced into a bad spot where he's actually lost his Magi's.
Well, falling back is COG with a Phoenix in hand. Mid-Phoenix down for Titan. 13 kills to 4. It's been a fairly slow pace game in terms of kills. We've had quite a bit of action now.
Only level 20 right now for Titan is Ataraxia.
Yeah, I mean, they are down quite a bit in the XP department. 18,000 right now. And although there's a lot of 20s on the side of Cognitive Gaming, still not up to snuff are Titan.
Ada goes into the air. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be another wasted Apollo ult.
That's tough. That's just not where they want to be right now. Wow, look at this, Brandon. So just pulling out the player damage tab. Scylla, Muzen, Osiris, Thor in that order before we see a member of Titan on the board in terms of player damage. It just goes to show you how strong the team fights have been on the side of Cognitive Gaming.
And then Geb is actually currently ahead of Ataraxia, who has gone into that unicorn-esque build. It just doesn't have the damage to be able to contend right now. He is sitting second to bottom damage at 6850, and he went up in a lane against a Muzen, which means he had the best rotation possible.
And the Muzen also putting up almost 7,500 structure damage so far this game. That's a lot of structure damage. For comparison, the next highest in the game is 1,300 on the back of Osiris.
And that's been Omega just like tanking towers freely and like taunting.
That's right, yeah. I mean, this is all Barracuda doing the work on the structures, and it's part of what Muzen is so good at. And look, he's got an Aussie now as well. Penetration boys online.
That's true. I mean, look at the damage overall. I mean, that is a huge amount over the chin size. He's got the brawlers. Beat stick there. He's going pretty much all pen.
225 physical power of those items and 50 flat pen. He is at cap.
That's rough. So 2 Phoenixes remain. We're going to see Titan. Actually, yeah, they're going to try to defend the split push. 3 on left. It looks like just Omega on right, trying to keep Ataraxia down. And he might put Ataraxia down with how much damage he's throwing out.
I am not interested in fighting True Damage B with Fire Giant buff. And that's what's going on here. I mean, with all that pen, he is effectively doing true damage against all but the tankiest targets. And he has a Fire Giant buff adding to his physical power. This is going to be an extremely difficult defense for Titan. 2.24 attack speed right now for Barra. Kind of gets baited there, throws out his beads, expecting the Cataclysm coming out from Kanye. He doesn't use it. He takes some damage for Pretty Prime, but the lifesteal brings him right back into it. Yeah, now he has to respect the ultimate from the Gem. We can fall back at the 3-man stun from Angler. MLC Stealth is here as well.
Bang!
Over the top, down goes Comfrey. It's just doing so much damage as the Yama Monster. He's looking for Ataraxia. Can he make it? Oh, he's going to hit just Kanye Light, but that's half of the HP of the tank. And now it's the Phoenix and the Titan exposed. Right side Phoenix is going to be the target. Omegatron going to lead the charge. Jeff Hinla is there to back him up, and the Phoenix starting to take some damage. Here comes the fight.
Oh, my Lord.
Goes down before he can pop the ultimate. This could be game. Cognitive Prime with an opportunity to win this one. Ladies and gentlemen, they take the final Phoenix. They push it towards the Titan. Cognitive Prime wants to make it a North America contender from the round of 4. Here they go in. They're going to dive the well. There's nothing left for Titan. It's Cognitive Gaming's game. DM Brandon Cog Prime is going to knock out Titan.
This is the issue with too much healing. Wicked and Curse, Jeff Hinla, Barracuda, and MLC Stealth completely run the front line. Omega from the back. And then, of course, Andy showing that he, yes, can play at LAN.
Unbelievable performance across the board for Cognitive Prime. They take down the #1 contender out of Europe, your champions of Europe, in the form of Titan.